Senator John Kennedy grilled witnesses today in the Senate Judiciary Committee focusing on college athlete rights. The debate centered on money, fairness, and whether student-athletes truly benefit from college sports. Who really profits? Universities, coaches, or the players themselves? Stay tuned for more. Senator Kennedy took a step back, laying it out plain. College athletics generated massive revenue for decades. That money flowed to universities, coaches, and TV stations. But after the Supreme Court's 2021 decision, athletes finally saw a piece of the pie, and that's when the chaos began. Baker and Huma didn't hold back. For years, universities had a monopoly on athlete value. Players couldn't earn from sponsorships without schools taking the money. The witnesses said this is about rights, not just dollars. Subscribe for more on these explosive hearings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's clear to me from listening today that we still have a lot of work left to do. I want to start with trying to look at this issue from 30,000 feet. For many years now, college athletics has generated enormous revenues. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. The Supreme Court comes along in the Alston case, is that right, in 2021, and changes where that money's going. Before, that money was going to TV stations and universities and coaches and others, I guess, construction companies that were building the new stadiums. And then after the Supreme Court decides the Alston case in 2021, the kids start getting paid, and all hell breaks loose. I mean, is that what is going on here? The fact that the money is being redistributed, and that's going to cause the world to spin off its axis because the kids are getting a share of the dough? Governor?
What I would say, Senator, in response to the Alston decision is there is flexibility for schools that can afford to make Alston payments to do so, and they can make Alston payments in particular sports as long as they manage to satisfy the Title IX requirements, and they can choose what level they want to support, and they can also choose to play or not.
But you're getting down into the weeds, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We're going to have to get in the weeds. But that's what before the Alston case, everything was just fine. And then the Alston case is handed down, and the kids start getting some of the money, not the adults. The adults have got a share. And all of a sudden, the world's on fire. What am I missing here?
For the record, I support the Alston stuff. I also support NIL. I just would like to see a little more transparency and support for information to make it easier for student athletes to succeed in this space.
Well, Kennedy cautioned, be careful what you wish for. He warned Congress could start micromanaging college sports if asked to step in. The system feels like the Wild West, but heavy-handed oversight could be risky. Kennedy circled back, recognizing the real fight is about money redistribution and exposing old inequities. For decades, adults thrived while athletes were locked out. Witnesses argued it's time athletes are seen as workers with rights.
Let me make this suggestion to you, and I want to hear from the rest of the panel. I would strongly encourage you and your colleagues try to get together and come up with a new system for us to consider that looks like somebody designed it on purpose. You may regret asking Congress to intervene here. All of a sudden, you're going to be micromanaged. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't, and my colleagues have raised excellent points, and it sounds to me like we do have a bit of a I don't know, Wild West, as Chairman Blumenthal described it. But I'd be real careful before you invite Congress in to start micromanaging your business. Let me go back to the original question. What am I missing about this? Isn't this fight over the fact that the kids are now getting some of the money that the adults were getting before? Yes, sir.
Absolutely. The injustice that has been inflicted on college athletes seemed to be fine for the industry until we won some court rulings and state legislatures started passing laws. Essentially, the industry had a monopoly on college athletes' NIL value. They owned every penny. Nike wants to slap a logo on a kid, gotta pay the school. Kid can't get a penny. That's what this is about. Many of the schools even said, hey, if that happens, we're gonna lose money. That means you've been stealing money from these kids. If it's against the Supreme Court, if it violates antitrust law. That's the problem. The opposition, even employment stats, all this is about, we don't want to pay them fairly. NIL, just so you know, this is not equitable economic situation here. That's like saying, go get another job because we're not gonna pay you for what you do here. We're gonna cap you. Have a national price fix for a scholarship, no matter, and a lot of these schools, that's me or
That's
not.
the NFL, man.
Is it? So, and we can't treat every division as if it's the same. FBS schools masquerading as D3 schools, saying there are no employees here. You know, and Notre Dame, I know I would imagine they have students in the bookstore as employees. It doesn't seem to harm their educational opportunity. There's no congressional hearings about that. We're talking about equal rights. And this industry is operating in illegal fashion. It's breaking antitrust law, breaking labor laws. And now it's coming home. And players are getting, you know, avenues and levers and pulling leverage, and here we are saying the sky's going to fall. But it's not the truth.
I agree with you.
Senator Kennedy made his position clear. He supports the Austin ruling and NIL rights. Kennedy's concern was for the players, the kids who make college athletics possible. The heart of the issue is simple. Athletes are finally getting paid.
I don't mean to go over so much, Mr. Chairman. We are talking about rights here, but we're also talking about money. And it just seems to me that this controversy in part has been caused by a model of redistribution for that money. And I've got a lot of sympathy for the kids, I have to tell you. The adults seem to be able to take care of themselves, but it's the kids that make all this possible. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The Judiciary Committee is debating the future of college sports and whether athletes will finally be treated fairly. Should Congress step in, or should athletes and schools decide? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more coverage from Capitol Hill.